Hey, this is Joel Oney at J Money in the heart of the Buckeye State, and I want to personally welcome you to today's episode of the Steel Kings podcast with my good friends Jared Ledford and Eric Olson, better known as the Steel Kings. Be sure to check out jmoneyllc.com for financing solutions for your buildings. And now let's get back to the Steel Kings podcast.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Jared and Eric. We are the Steel Kings. Welcome back to another podcast with us. Eric, it is a beautiful Monday. This is episode number 17, and we are just hanging out. We're just hanging out today. What are you up to, man? How are you?
Yeah, bro. You hit go on the music, and I got a text message from a previous customer from 2 years ago who just texted me and said, the shop I have is still doing perfect and doing great. I need a 60 by 120 by 20 in Choctaw, Oklahoma. So
all right. Well,
Choctaw,
Oklahoma, it is, man.
I feel like a Tim McGraw song.
Yeah, bro. Like an Indian outlaw kind of
Indian
vibe,
outlaw.
Right? Yeah, little 90s
like
country vibe. So yeah.
Little.
Bro, I am doing really good today, man. I'm enjoying my Monday. We are getting busier. We talked about steel tariffs last week. We're going to hang out a little bit with you this week. We're just going to show you kind of a behind the scenes kind of look at what we do. One thing I wanted to give a quick shout out at the beginning of the episode. Our studio sponsors, J Money. Look, J Money started with Joel. He's a farm kid from northern Ohio. He turned his passion for building and banking into a mission to help craftsmen grow their businesses with smart and simple financing. If you sell steel buildings, sheds, or any home improvement service, J Money gives you and your customers the power to say yes, even when the cash is tight. And we know the cash is tight right now, don't we, Eric?
Yeah. So the steel tariffs are tight. 50% increase about 5 days ago to June 9th today.
So check out the team over at jmoneyllc.com and get those payment solutions and get those great results for your customers. Man, I got to tell you, we don't normally talk about this stuff, but one thing that I was excited about, and I know not everybody's got Netflix, but we were talking about a new show, Power Moves with Shaquille O'Neal. So that got me a little bit motivated to talk at the beginning of the episode. What gets you guys motivated? What do you guys listen to? What do you watch? What gets you moving when you're not talking about steel buildings and wood sheds? I sat down and powered through, I think it's 6 or 7 episodes. Just a couple guys who grew up playing basketball. Now they're rebranding the company Reebok. And Eric and I were talking offline, just kind of reminiscing about being young and wanting a new pair of shoes. And, I just thought that was something I'd share with you guys. If you guys are Netflix fans or if you stream or watch anything, check out Power Moves with Shaquille O'Neal. It really motivated me, made me feel good. Like those guys, Shaquille O'Neal and Allen Iverson, they're getting back into an industry that they really love, which is shoes and apparel. And I know that that's not sheds and metal buildings, but like I couldn't feel any more motivated today just to see somebody else. And I know, trust me, Shaquille O'Neal is like a multi-millionaire. So is Allen Iverson. I'm sure they get whatever they want, right? But they're grinding. Mm-hmm. They're grinding. They're grinding. And it motivated me a little bit to be excited today and just say man, I really love what I do, selling wood sheds and metal buildings, and we're getting into pole barns. I am just jazzed up today, man. I'm feeling good. So
yeah. Well, so it's Allen Iverson and Shaq are Shaq's big claim to fame when he got his shoe deal with Reebok. He was, you remember, he comes from a poor background, and he was frustrated with how expensive shoes were, and so he came up with the Shaq brand originally.
Yeah.
And he was selling super cheap shoes at Walmart because he wanted everybody to be able to, if they wanted to wear shoes, he wanted them to be able to afford his shoe brand. So he struck a deal with Walmart, and I think that was his initial, so I think he owns claim to fame. He owns Forever 21, which is like a chick store.
Yeah, he owns everything. He owns Eddie Bauer, Nautica. If you really dig into it, dude, his apparel company is like this. Yeah, like this conglomerate, right? And they own all these businesses. And, you know, I just wanted to share that with you guys that like, this is just one guy and he started from nothing. He was obviously an exceptionally talented basketball player. But like, this is a guy who believes in what he's doing, has all kinds of avenues. And I mean, it took one guy and now he's doing all these crazy and cool things and like motivating a guy like me who sells metal buildings and wood sheds on a Monday, coming off of a weekend. And, you know, it's just one of those things, man. I thought I'd share that with you. And it's probably not for everybody, but you know, it's a cool show. You know, Shaq is literally the president of Reebok basketball now. And he's like a shot caller for a company that signed him when he was like 20 years old to endorse their shoes. And I just thought, man, how cool is that? Like maybe one day the Steel Kings will be like officially taking over a metal building manufacturer, wood shed manufacturer, and saying like, hey, you know, this is where we came from. We started as two guys sitting on a shed lot. You know, Eric did it before me. He found me. I bought a metal building and like, bro, we're getting into pole barns. I'm super excited about that. We are absolutely thrilled and excited about what we're doing on that side of the business.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Actually manufacturing things, like actually a part of the process of like getting these things. When we say from start to finish, we mean it, right? Like we source the leads, we sell the product, we work to get the product scheduled and get the materials supplied. And then we work with contractors to get the buildings put up. I mean, it is an exciting time
Literally.
to be alive for us. And I just thought, man, on a Monday morning, if you're feeling blue, you know, get out and do something, man. Cause I'm telling you, staying positive mental attitude has been good for me this last couple years.
Yeah.
I talked to you on a treadmill this morning, my man.
Man, I was on a treadmill hoofing it.
Yeah, we're both trying.
They
We're both
opened
trying to.
they opened a Planet Fitness in Springboro, and it's I was going to the Middletown one, which is kind of far, but now Springboro, man, and you know Springboro is like
Yeah.
yuppie-ish, and it's like
Yeah.
you've got everything. You got a Super Kroger, a Starbucks, a Planet Fitness, a car wash, like one of them like really good car washes, you know, like
Yeah.
the people scrub your vehicle like
That
before
actually
you go
takes
into
the
the
bird
car
poop.
wash.
That actually gets the bird poop off.
Yeah. So like I go through that thing. I mean, I get a Starbucks, I go to the gym, I get a Starbucks, I go right to the drive-through, and then I hit Kroger on the way home, and then I throw it on my Blackstone. It's like it's a nice gig, you know, and chatting with
Yeah.
my best bud about
Yeah.
what we're doing. You know, and I think, you know, in the spirit of entrepreneurship, it's like, you know, Shaq, does he need to work? Probably not. You know, and could we just sell wood sheds, me and you? Probably. Could we just sell steel structures? Yeah, probably. But we are questing to do everything that you could.
That's right. That's right.
And I'm not putting red iron out for any reason, but you know, maybe that ends up being some sort of thing later in life too.
You know, quick shout out if you're a red iron supplier and you're looking for a dealer, give us a shout. I mean, I think what I've been motivated about and what really motivated me about that show is exactly, and I was hoping that you would say that. I was really hoping that you would say that because it gets to a point in your lives where you can do for yourself, right? And you can make money, and that's great. And money's, you know, money will get you what you think you want. But like, it's so much more fun to do it with other people and empower them to do the same and give people opportunities. And that's what I love about working with you, Eric, is you've given us this opportunity to like take what you struggled to learn, something that you weren't any good at. I mean, you've been, you know, pretty open about that. Like, look, Eric learned it from nothing sauce. Eric showed up at a shed lot, probably didn't even know the first thing about a shed. And, you know,
I cried for the record. I cried on my first day because I was like, what am I doing here? I don't know what I'm doing.
And like we're sitting back now and like just like Eric's saying, we're having good times. You know, Eric's out traveling, enjoying his new wife and, you know, living his best life. We talked about the revival last week. Eric's going to have a cool episode coming your way with a little bit more about what he does and a little bit more about him personally. And I will too. Because I think sharing that with you guys, the feedback that I get, you know, we read the comments, we get the emails. You know, I'm the fat bald guy. You know, I'm thinning upstairs. My hair is a little bit gray, whatever else. But like, you know, the fact of the matter is I'm just a guy like you selling metal buildings, having a good time. And I want this podcast to be fun and exciting. And we're not always going to get on here and just talk about wood sheds and metal buildings. Like, that is a fact. Eric and I have talked about this, and we want to just shoot with you guys. Like, this is what we do on a day-to-day basis. Like, we talked about it before. We don't get a whole lot of time to just hang out. We're best friends. I think we both stay in touch with you as much as we can. But like, I just was just talking to Eric offline. I'm like, bro, I got all this stuff I want to tell you. I feel like I haven't talked to you. So let's just talk on the podcast. Like, let's just talk to the people. Like,
We're hanging
forget
today.
about it. That's right.
We're
That's right.
hanging today.
I
Currently,
feel
you can see I'm distracted a little bit, but it's mainly because I'm chasing this. It's a 60 by 120 by 20 barn door shop. He wants 12 by 46 lean-to wraparound porch, 3 12 by 12s, 1 14 by 14, 7 walk-in frame outs, 2 14 by 12 gable porch overhead doors, 26 gauge sheet metal, 12 gauge frame. And
that sounds like a healthy lead in Choctaw.
In Choctaw, it sounds like a healthy lead. I am not sure. I'm doing it because like if we're just ripping this episode, it's like I hope by the end of this I got a price to throw out to the audience. Right now I'm into I got the wraparounds done. And so anyway, yeah, I'll stay
it's funny because
it
was funny because on last week's episode I was looking around. So for those of you that don't understand, I'm on a green screen right now. Normally I stand right where I am on my green screen. Right now I'm in an office. So our lead generator had major back surgery, and I'm talking like major back surgery. So I've been back in the cockpit working leads. So I'm in the office today, and like those of you that can't see, like, got a screen here, got a screen there, got a screen over here. So I'm screened out. I've got an iPad, I'm filtering leads. Like, that's what I was doing on the last episode. If you catch my head drifting, I'm watching Facebook, I'm watching Meta, I'm watching the Google ads, I'm watching it all, and I'm filtering leads out to the team. So I was just thinking with Eric when we were talking offline, I'm like, let's just work. Like, let's just kind of just go through the motions, right? I mean, if you're sitting there listening to us, we're not just podcast personalities. We're not just metal building salesmen. Eric's a husband. He's an uncle. He's got a lot of stuff going on in his personal life. I'm a dad. I love my kids. I am busy all the time. I am trying to stay focused on me. My last couple of years, my journey's been kind of rough, right? And the barns has been my saving grace. And a lot of times it's laying on Eric and Eric laying on me, like, all the burdens of the day or the week or the month or the year or the whatever, and getting through it. And I thought, man, I want to be real with you guys today a little bit. I just want to, we talked about it last week. Our business is right where we want it to be. We're in the pocket, we're expanding, but like, our metal building sales are not where they need to be. And I know that we're not the only ones out there. And I don't want to ever come across like we're better, because we're not. We're exactly like you. We were in your shoes. I know there are people on this call we could learn from, people on this podcast that are watching us that we could learn from. I'm asking you, I'm literally going to extend my hand out and give you a virtual handshake. I am Jared at the Steel Kings. He is Eric at the Steel Kings. Drop us an email. We'd love to talk to you guys. We'd love to get you on here with us to hang out for half an hour, 45 minutes, talk about you, talk about your business, talk about steel. That's how I got to know Shannon, was just having these kind of one-off conversations, and like, having given a shout out to Shannon recently, but like Shannon giving us the platform to be with you guys and share with you guys.
You just cut it loose. Cut it loose, he says.
Yeah. He said, share with the people what you want to share with them. And today is the day when we're going to kind of pull back the veil a little bit. I'm sitting here working leads. I think today we have gotten, let's see here. We're about 35 deep right now. 17, 23. We're like 23 for 35 on conversions, which is solid. We're getting good SEO traction today.
Hello, shed sellers. Did you catch the latest Real Work Labs interview with George Converse? If not, don't miss this value-packed episode. Head to Shed Geeks Podcast YouTube and search Real Work Labs. George and the Real Work Labs crew are riding the wave of Google's latest updates, taking your digital presence to the next level. We're tech artisans, crafting your neighborhood brand voice for shed sellers like you to stand out, gain trust, and get found online. Our software will easily capture your work snapshots, videos, weave your craft's story, and get reviews all in one virtual experience. Our innovation goes beyond getting found for your business location, rather getting found for your work locations. Reviews intertwine with their corresponding job sites. When potential customers seek local expertise, you're the proven solution they'll find. It's high time to map your reviews and showcase your beautiful work in a meaningful way that builds trust in customers' neighborhoods. Ready for the journey? Visit shedgeek.realworklabs.com or call George today at 480-787-7575. Real Work Labs, elevating your trust, increasing your conversions, and getting you found where you work in the neighborhoods you serve, one shed at a time.
We're batting pretty solid.
Let's take a look. Yeah, let's take a look at Google Console. Something that with the steel tariffs that we've been definitely in communication with is that I think people are going to return back to businesses for their metal building purchases. I think
That's right.
the scams are going to increase online, which is going to force people to go back to Better Business Bureau and stop looking for the best deal and start looking for the best like company to actually deal with, like somebody that's going to like reply and yeah, I mean, I'm the testimony. I'm talking to a guy that bought from me that he wants to buy from me. He bought from Dayton Barnes, and people are going to return back to their shopping habits of probably not racing to the bottom. I'm not looking for the best deal. Is kind of the vibe. I think we're starting to see that a little bit more because our leads are increasing. I asked the team, I think I remember what day it was, Tuesday or Wednesday, and I just simply put, are the phone calls below about the same or more? And basically everybody said the same thing. They have definitely increased, not sure how much, but it's definitely obvious that they've increased. And that means that the traffic to not only our website, but really people coming to a company rather than a person is now increasing. And I think that that's a good sign, because not that you shouldn't sell stuff off marketplace, because that's pretty much how I get my leads. Going back to a company that's got a strong reputation is a solid choice if you're trying to buy metal building. And
People want the building
yeah.
to show up. You know, people trust what they can see, what they can visualize. You know, if you've got active Google profiles, if you're, you know, I think right now we're several 100,000 deep on SEO as far as index pages, with several 100,000 more to come. And, you know, what people don't understand about that, if you're sitting back and you're thinking, man, you know, I see a lot of Dayton Barnes ads, or I see a lot of Dealer X or Dealer Y's ads, like, you know, that stuff costs us money. And
we
that's one
had
thing that Eric
a
and I have been really talking about. Go ahead.
we had a we had a web developer one time that developed a website for us that was on Squarespace. And just I'm just throwing this out as a disclaimer. If you're working with somebody, make sure that if you're trying to really go into some SEO stuff, know that the programs have limited capabilities. If you're not going to use something like WordPress or HTML, like you're actually going to code it, that type of deal.
Yep.
I think that we've learned that the hard way, that
Yep.
you really want to go with freehand. You want to be able to like influence the yeah. So you understand what I'm saying.
The
So
feedback.
anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah. No, the feedback that I'll give there is, so, you know, if you're working with a marketing company right now, just do your due diligence. I mean, that's what I would say. You know, I'm not going to say steer clear of marketing companies. I will tell you that we like the guys over at Shed Geek Marketing. They do a great job with wood sheds and metal buildings and all that. But, you know, there's lots of good marketing companies out there, just like there's a lot of bad marketing companies out there. And make sure that you have access to your Google Console. Like, one of the things that still, and Eric's going to laugh at this, one of the things that still makes me a little bit upset to this day, and I don't carry a lot of stuff around. We've worked with a couple different marketing companies, and what Eric and I figured out over time is that if we just learned it ourselves, we could save that money. and spend more advertising or hiring more people or whatever. But like, we had a marketing company that we were super tight with. Matter of fact, the Steel Kings idea was kind of birthed in just a general, I think we told you this a long time ago. The Steel Kings podcast, or Steel Kings, has been a concept that Eric and I have had, and we've had other partners along the way, and people have dropped off and people have stayed. But like, it ended up being me and Eric, which is great. But this company that we were working alongside was doing marketing blitzes for us, was helping us set up drip campaigns, doing all this cool stuff. And we were going to start doing videos and start doing like attraction posts through YouTube and all of that kind of stuff, and doing reels. Well, we had a falling out with that particular marketing company just because they were not able to grow with us at the time, and we were not seeing the results and the return that we wanted to. And it always came down to, hey, we need a couple more $1,000 this month, or hey, we need a couple more $100 this week, or hey, this particular ad. And what we figured out was what we were doing wasn't broken, so why were we trying to fix it? What we did always worked, and we didn't need anybody influencing it. We had to change our logo. The first thing they wanted to do was come in and change our logo. Kind of salty about that. Love the new logo, don't get me wrong. But, Eric had the first logo designed and it was perfectly fine. I mean, we probably spent multiple thousands of dollars rebranding the business. And that was just so that they could get their hooks into us a little bit. But the one thing that drives me nuts, they locked up our YouTube. We lost our YouTube handle because of all that nonsense. And, I'm just, hindsight 2020, be mindful of who you're working alongside of, have control of your social media accounts, have control of what it is that controls you. Stay in control or it'll control you. Right. So keep your hands on it. I want to say too, brother, I'm giddy. I'm like ramped up today. I don't know what it is, but if you're sitting back, yeah, it's a good Monday, man. It's a good Monday. First, like, kind of nice weekend with good weather and stuff. And, I just want to give you guys all of the blessing and all the love that I can this week. I really just want you to hear our voices and be motivated to go out and do something cool, try something new, run a new ad on Facebook, get on Marketplace and post 20 buildings, do whatever it is that's going to make your business grow, because right now you're going to need it, man. We're feeling it. We're changing the way we're doing things. We're pivoting a little bit, swerve left, swerve right, get back in the middle, swerve left, swerve right, get back in the middle. We're always trying to pivot when we need to. And I think right now, man, we're making good moves. And, one of the things I wanted to do was I want to be more conversational with these podcasts. And I want to talk to you guys directly like you're in the rooms with us. So that way you can turn us on and not feel like you're being sold a bunch of stuff. Yeah, we love the guys. We love the guys over at the VersaBin team, Cold Spring Enterprises, J Money, Shed Hub. We love our partners. But like, I don't want you to just hop on here and think, man, these guys are just hawking ads to me. These guys are speaking out of turn. These guys think they're better than me. Trust me, we don't think we're better than you. We sat around and pined on a podcast and content creation for years. And we just saw the need in our space to kind of bring it forth, bring it to the forefront. There's nobody out there that just gets on here and just talks about our industry, talks about the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent. And that's where we want to be at, man. We want to give you guys an inside scoop in what we do. And that involves who we are as people. And I see you shaking your head.
So it does.
I kind of dropped this on you. I kind of dropped this on you out of the blue. So you weren't expecting it.
I kind of want to take a video of what I'm doing, and so you guys can see that the entire time that we've been on this show so far, I want to kind of show what I've been creating. So just FYI for viewer, I just 10%. Okay, you gotta love having an owner at your disposal. You just text, hey, here's a quick video. Can I take 10% off? He says absolutely. So bam. So this building is a 60, but I'm not gonna say who it's from. 60 by 120 wraparound porch. I've got 6 huge doors, 18 36 by 36 openings, 7 openings for walk-in door, and I got the little trick on the lean-tos where you enclose the sides and then do frame outs to kind of cover the bones up. 150K plus I could take 10% off, so you're looking at about 140 ish for the building, 135 for the building. probably 6 or 7K for freight. Blueprints will cost 5K. We'll need a lift for a week. I think you're all in here. Oklahoma's got a higher sales tax than most. I think it's probably 7 or 8%, 8% probably. I'm thinking you're probably in this baby for about $170. It's probably
Yeah.
something like that, $175. How's that for shooting Eric a text and getting a quote for a wildly complicated building in less than 10 minutes? Pro tip, salespeople, do it quick. Keep them interested, man. Give them what they're looking
Give
for.
yourself some room and be willing to make mistakes.
I'm
Especially when you're
showing
talking
off
about a
now.
building, especially when you're talking about a building that's that price. I mean, there's more than enough room to screw a couple things up. Customers want to know you're there and they want to know that you're working for them in real time. And I think that's one thing that Eric and I do a pretty good job of doing. I mean, we're not the best. I'm not going to sit here and say that we're the best, but I can tell you, I would challenge there, you know, the one thing that I get told a lot, and I like to say this to people too, so it's something to keep in mind. I always ask people, how many people have you met? I met a manufacturing partner last year and we just really hit it off, man. Me and him were just, we've got to be good buddies, and we chit chat and we shoot texts back and forth. We check in on each other. But like when we met each other and we parted ways for the first time, I said, man, how many people have you met in this space that's like me? And he said, can't think of a single one. And I
That's
said,
it.
man, I'm going to say the same thing, right? Like I had never met a person like him. And you want to be that person for somebody else. And that's what we find a lot. I mean, personally, I've not met somebody in the industry I don't like, and I had I had an interaction recently with somebody, and they'll know who they are when they hear the podcast. He came up and I had just been told through the grapevine, man, this guy doesn't really like you guys very much, and he's not your biggest fan. And it's like, oh, okay. Well, I mean, great. I mean, I'll get to meet him, and that's fine. So I was in a shared room with this particular gentleman. Couldn't have had a nicer conversation with the guy. He came up and kind of half jokingly said, hey, can I get a autograph from the Steel King? And I was like taken back, like, whoa, like, okay, nice to meet you too, brother. And like,
All right.
I just flat told him, and I told you this story, Eric. I just told him, I said, man, I don't know what you've heard about me, but I've heard about you. And I am super impressed with your business. I think what you're doing is super impressive. You have a resume and a pedigree that exceeds who you are. And the look on his face when I complimented him, and he knew what he had said. He knew the things that I had heard. And I can't say that I know for sure that he said the things that I had heard, but I know that he probably had said some of the things because I had heard some of the things from people I really trust, people that I love and care about me. And I met him with love and met him with an open heart. And I'll be honest with you, man, I had a great conversation with the guy. There's a lot I can learn from him. And to be honest with you, I love sharing that story because when he came up and said, can I have an autograph from the Steel King? I thought to myself, well, at least you're listening to the podcast. at least you know where I'm at right now. Right. So, a motivating
Know who it
tip for
is.
today. Yeah. So nobody ever hesitate to come up and say hello to me or Eric. Of the two of us, I'm probably the more open, but I'll meet you with the same level of respect you meet me with. I think he was being a little condescending at first, but I met him with some respect, and he met me back with that same respect. And we now have an understanding for each other. And at the very least, there's not as much. I know the air is open, right, Eric? Now I feel like
Yeah.
I can talk to this guy in public. I don't feel like I have to steer clear. And that's been one thing that you and I have been on a mission the last couple of years, because we've faced an immense amount of adversity, business, personal life, you name it. And, we
It
have just
quieted
met
me
that.
right. It quieted me right up.
We have absolutely met those obligations and barriers in our lives with full speed ahead. FSA, I'm going to say that right now because I say it a lot in my mind. Full speed ahead, always. There's no reason to feel some sort of way about something. If you're feeling some sort of way about something, address it, because burying that stuff inside, man, makes you feel bad.
Hello, Shed and Carport industry. I'm Cord Cook, Chief Brand Strategist here at Shed Geek Marketing. Did you know that Shed Geek Marketing works with 45 shed companies and counting? And we are not slowing down in 2025. One of the neat benefits to working with Shed Geek Marketing is working with an agency as opposed to just an individual. When you work with Shed Geek Marketing, you have a team of professionals working diligently to ensure your success. From branding guidelines and brand books to websites, Google and Meta tag tracking that measures the traffic to your website and social media pages, CRM setup and full automation build-outs, lead funnel integration, and so much more. Worried about whether or not we can serve you? Don't be. Shed Geek Marketing works with manufacturers ranging from $1 million a year in sales up to $80 million a year in sales. There is no manufacturer too big or too small. Remember, marketing is an investment that should be making you money. That's why nearly 50 companies have decided to work with Shed Geek Marketing. So for more information, go to www.shedgeek.com and submit some basic information, and we'll reach out with a discovery call and patiently walk you through how we can best serve you. Thank you for your time and look forward to working with you.
Eric and I both have demons. I'm just going to share mine. I used to drink. I was an alcoholic, and not a bad alcoholic, right? But I'd go out and party. I'd have a good time. I haven't had a drink in like 18 months. And like just calling myself out for that and saying, you know what, you don't need that beer. You don't need that mixed drink. You don't need that cocktail. You're better than that. And it has allowed me to open myself up to so much more in my life that challenges me, both professionally and personally, to just get ahead of it, right? And call it out for what it is. Like, look, you're going home every night and having a couple beers, and that's not good. You got kids. Like, you got to get up in the morning and go to work. And that, I was never the kind of guy that would not be at work. I mean, Eric will tell you, I'm at the office all the time. I don't miss work. I don't go on vacation. I don't do that. I just don't. I'm at work. I love work. And all that extra energy now is going back into the business. And I feel it paying dividends in my life by addressing it out loud, right? And like sharing it with you guys, it's a testimony for me, right? The 12 steps. I've never actually gone through AA, but I can tell you, admitting what admitting what you are, which in my case is an alcoholic. I had a hard time saying no to alcohol. And, saying that out loud is the first step in making a transition in your life that can be transformative. And I know that y'all like to party. I've seen it. I've seen the steel dealers and the trade shows
Podcast,
and
man.
even the woodshed guys. I know y'all like to party, and I'll take a pass. And Eric's my witness, man. He's watched me turn it down. He has watched me turn it down in public, and there was a time in my life that never would have happened, especially when the drinks were free. So I don't know, man. I was just feeling extra lubed up today. I feel extra good, and like my vibe's good. Eric was just at the revival. We were talking about that. He was vibing. Bro, he came back. He's got a little bit of a tan on him. It was a little hot and muggy, but Eric's always got a tan. Eric's rocking that year-round Florida tan. I don't know what it is, man. I got to get some of that hair. I got to get some of that hair, brother. I got
Planet Fitness membership.
I got too much hair on my face, not enough on my head.
That's funny. It don't take much. I got an Italian heritage, so if I go outside for long enough, I get that bronze kind of. And one thing that I saw over the weekend, and I think it was a reel or like a little short clip or something, was about how like there's like two brackets. When men get older, they either look really old or they kind of stay young looking, and it has everything to do with moisturizing. And so
yeah.
I've moisturized my face forever. It's because I don't, and I know you're the same. You got the hand sanitizer. It's like,
yeah,
I'm like a habitual. I can't stand cracked cuticles, so I'm constantly putting lotion on, and I'm like, my skin is staying healthy. And I'm 40. I'm almost 40. In 2 months, I turned 40. I'm like,
yeah,
it was a confirmation seeing that video. I'm like, yeah, I didn't know why
I'm a
Bath
and Body Works guy. So I mean, for those of you that don't know, I like Bath and Body Works.
The hand sanitizer is so
eucalyptus
good.
and spearmint. Yep, eucalyptus and spearmint. So the aromatherapy line from Bath and Body Works. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm a Bath and Body Works guy. I go like once it. You can buy like 3 items and get 3 for free. So I get these big lotions and I get the hand sanitizers, the little pocket backs. I got shorts on today because it's hot. in Ohio today. But like when I got my
Just
jeans
80.
on, you can ask Eric. Everybody's always bumming me for, hey, can I get some hand sanitizer? And it's right
It's
in my
because it
pocket.
smells good.
It does smell
Weird.
good, bro.
You
It
can't
does
put
smell
it on
good.
your hand and not smell it. You cannot put it
That's
on your
right.
hand and not take
And
a strong whiff.
it stays, and it's not like an overwhelming smell either. It's like a welcoming, warm smell. And like I
It's a
get more
Seinfeld episode.
compliments. Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
It
You can
definitely
make a
could be a
whole you can make
Seinfeld
a whole
episode.
you can make a whole episode out of, man, what's that smell? Oh, Jared must be here. But no, Eric
Yeah.
does that when he comes to the office, man. He'd be like, oh well, Eric, Jared must be here. I can smell him
Yeah.
already.
100%.
So I
100%.
don't know, man. I was just feeling, I can't say it enough. I'm just feeling good today. I really want to, if you guys like this, let us know. Let us know. I mean, I know we're not hitting you with all the tread work today. We're not getting into the ins and outs of the industry or sheds, but I mean, I really want to show you guys a little bit about who we are and what we do. And again, we are so blessed beyond measure to be in a space working alongside friends that we absolutely love and care about, and doing something that, man, I don't know that I'd rather do anything else. Eric got me this watch one time, and Eric will think it's funny because there's two guys that got watches that might not think it's that way anymore. But it says on the backside on the crown, it says best job I ever had. And it's the truth, man. I've never had a job like this. And the people that haven't been able to run with us, God bless their hearts, because they're missing out on a really good time. I can tell you that right now. Ego, bravado, whatever it was, whatever got in their way, man. I hope they're doing well. I wish them well. If they're checking us out,
Bro,
I wish you guys
hey,
nothing but the best, right?
let me tell you some weird crap. I had a dream last night. I was telling Heather this. I woke up. I want to say his name, but I won't because it's pointless. But I had a dream that I called that guy on the phone, and because like for some reason in the dream I was like, I was meeting something. There's a ministry in Dayton called Simple Street. The guy that renovated our bathroom at the Huber shop when the kids was in youth still, his name was Joel Burton. He got hit by a car and passed away, unfortunately. But in the dream, I met his wife over the revival, and we was talking about that moment of the bathroom and different things and how we was plugged in. And in the dream, I was chatting about the ministry, and after I left it, I got a phone call from the guy. Like I literally walked away from the table, and I got a phone. It's so funny you just brought him up, and I missed the call, and then I called him back, and I was just asking like how he's doing and stuff, and he was like super depressed and sad, but he was still selling metal buildings, and
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm sharing that, but it's just a funny.
No,
I wished him all the best. Like in the dream, I was just telling him. Man, I was just calling to follow up. He wanted to know who we were selling buildings for. I think he was trying to get
there
a little,
you go. There you go.
trying to get a little more info.
We've had so many like
Why?
partners over the years, people that have worked alongside of us and people that have gotten, prideful or just ready to move on. Not everybody left on bad terms, but we've had a couple that have left on some pretty sour notes. And like, this is one to understand that like we got sued over this. Like we had to go to court over this. This was not just oh, I don't want to be your friend anymore. I'm going to take my ball and go home. This guy filed a lawsuit, and it all got taken care of. What was, but it's funny. At the end of the day, like I still think about the good times that we had sometimes, because we did have some good times, right? I mean, we were getting Eric's face is like, well, maybe not as many good times. I had to work alongside that guy for a hot minute,
Bro,
and
no memory of mine is bad.
Eric was absolutely getting me through some times, because I'm telling you, I am an above board kind of guy. I do not like anything even remotely. If it's got 1 ounce of stank on it, I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
And I can
Nope.
remember being, because at the time I didn't know anything. I was just like, Eric sold me a building. He hired me to be a 1099 contract worker selling buildings. And like, I don't know what it was that Eric saw in me, but I saw a lot in him. And I've worked like every day at this job to like pay it forward to him, because I feel like together we've passed through this storm of nonsense. And what was, I remember one time he was like, man, we should sell roll-up doors. We should sell roll-up doors,
Roll-up door
become
business.
a roll-up door dealer. And I'm thinking,
And let's
No.
go
That
backwards. Let's
sounds
go
that sounds
backwards.
like, yeah, let's not sell an entire building. Let's just sell the components. How bad
Let's
of
go
an idea does
backwards.
that sound? Yeah, like, and I told Eric, I said, man, this is a bad idea, dude. Like, this is terrible. And we
Uh,
went through it. We tried for him. To Eric's credit, man, he never takes an idea and doesn't at least try it once. My idea
that's
was
true.
let's get into pole barns. And brother, that
Man,
that
I'll
ain't
tell you
no
what, that has been. Let's tell the audience about what's coming up. So
yeah.
I got a chance. Okay, so pole barns. Let's talk about pole barns because um we got to shout out our sponsor real quick. Let's do that before we get into something.
So J Money is your partner in financing what you need to do. If you are a
Joel.
contractor, a dealer, a metal building dealer, a woodshed dealer, manufacturer, makes no difference. If you're roofing, doing pools, these guys, the team over there, will absolutely help you revolutionize your business. We've been
They
doing
helped us.
doing work with Joel now pretty much the whole time we've been dating Barnes. We've helped Joel. Joel's helped us. The reason why Eric brings that up is because the connection we have is because for a while I was working with J Money, right? So Dayton Barnes had become sort of a pseudo partner. We were doing some loan originations and setting up new account holders and talking to our friends and like, hey, you guys need to get this product. It doesn't benefit us. Joel was taking me all over and we went to a couple trade shows and went and traveled and did some head hunting. Well, one of the contacts we made was for pole barns, and I brought the pole barns to the table. And Eric will tell you, I was amped up about it. I was jazzed up. They were excited. They knew who we were. I was like, okay, this is great. We're going to have another outfit. We get requests for pole barns all the time. It's a Pepsi Coke kind of a thing. Pepsi being metal buildings, Coke being a pole barn. Some people just want a post frame building, period, the end. And we were ready to get on board and we didn't. I remember I got voted down by Eric and somebody else. And Eric said to me, now he never said no, but Eric said, man, you got to talk Dub into it. So JW, who's been on the podcast, used to work with us. And JW, for whatever reason, just wasn't feeling it. And I think at the time it probably was the right decision, honestly, because we weren't ready for it. Right. And that's where you're going to come in.
Yeah.
So we never put the idea away. Eric never forgot that I wanted it. And then
There
Eric,
was a lot of. It's been touching us. It touched us with DIY pole barns. And it touched us with, man, great owner, love that guy, solid Christian man. But we weren't set up for it. We sold one a long time ago. They facilitated the deal. We used one of their contractors, sold to a guy that was going to church with for his hay barn. Great project, but we still hadn't mastered metal, I don't feel like. But I feel like we've had a contractor in our back pocket for a couple years who has been doing concrete pads, and his business is stable. And I think the shock value of a concrete pad for a metal building versus a pole barn, which is a 32-inch footing versus a no-inch footing, which is just poles in ground, then you just surface cover the area with the pad. Some customers are turned off by the cost of a concrete building. Now, the cost of, and that's not in every county, but in particular, Montgomery County, Champaign, Greene, and Miami, some of them are a little picky about you've got to have the footing, and some of them are even more than what the plans call for. And so a lot of times customers will love the building quote. Maybe it's a $15,000 building, but the concrete might cost 23. And they're like,
yeah,
well, dang, that's over double the cost. And so, but maybe they'll do the pad and get another structure. And so we've been nudged, I would say, nudged if tapped, then nudged, then pushed, and then tackled in that order.
yeah,
I think over
yeah.
the past,
That sounds
I'd
about
say
right.
Pat sounds about right. Like past probably a year and a half or so. And man, we just formulated this thing overnight. We've got a website up. We've got a Facebook page. We've got social media. We've got hot leads. We've got some big things going on. We've got a particular huge project that we're doing that should be closing here soon. And reality, like that is what has, when there's no friction in your business and you protect your culture of your business, which is for our case, work, get the job done, and everything's laxed.
Yeah.
Um, get the leads done. Take care of the leads. I remember when I first started the business, I would man the ship on the messages, and sometimes we'd get 40 leads, sometimes we'd get 20. The youth boys would be hammering them in the other room, and I'd say, "We're not leaving until they're done." And so if we
Yeah.
get, and so that's our policy now, and kind of we're just like going after it, and I don't know where this thing came from, but it's came up overnight, and we're having some bigger conversations than we've ever had. I think the biggest project we've done is we had a almost a $500,000 project we've done this year out in
Right.
Arkansas, but that one
Yeah.
is blowing that one out of the water, and so I just feel like over the course of this year, we'll probably talk about pole barns a little bit more,
Yeah.
maybe towards the fall and winter time. But man, I just that's kind of a sneak peek into what we're kind of back scenes working on and stuff. And
The
I,
biggest part about it for me, bro, is it's so much fun because
it is fun.
we're in this, and
We're the end
again,
game. We're the end game
yeah, yeah.
in
I
the beginning.
love I love the process of doing it all. And with metal buildings, it's hard because really, like you were talking about concrete, and we're actually going to have one of our friends on a future episode to talk about concrete. But if you're in Ohio, let me just give you this little tidbit. It's a new law, 32-inch footer for the whole building all over the place.
Wow, I didn't know
So it
that.
is starting to change. So not every municipality and jurisdiction is up on that yet, but it will be. And I've been saying this. You guys have heard me last year on Shannon's podcast. I've said it periodically on this podcast. The regulation on steel buildings is coming. Pole barns is cool because most municipalities have like a pole barn sheet. A lot of times you don't even need blueprints. You can just submit the truss engineering and you're good you're golden. You just do a layout of the posts and you're good. And I mean, people get these pole barns up because the pole barn companies have worked exponentially hard to
And
keep
longer.
That's exactly right. They've been working to keep regulation up. They don't want anybody getting into the industry that doesn't know what they're doing because they know that the value of the product is diminished when you race to the bottom. And I haven't said it in the last couple of weeks. I'll say it now. Metal buildings are absolutely due for that. It's due for a
Yeah.
regulation. It's due for some changes. The days of generic blueprints are probably going to come to an end. I think there's a couple states, Alabama is one of them, where you're supposed to have sites on every building. Oregon is doing pretty much sites and seismics on every building. It's just one of those things, man. If you don't educate yourself and get in a position to be knowing and educating your customers, forget about it. You're done. You are absolutely not going to succeed 5 years from now doing this, period. This is going to require diligence and hard work and follow through. I think that's the biggest thing that is killing me today is just thinking about, man, we get calls all the time from customers. And I'm just sharing this with you. This is the truth. We get customers all the time. Man, I put a deposit down with XYZ company and I haven't heard anything from them. Is there anything you can do to help? Unfortunately, I can't. Now I can sell you another building and I'm happy to give you a deal. We work with customers all the time. And I'll say, hey, send me a proof that you bought a metal building. I'll sell you the exact same metal building. I'll follow it from start to finish. I'll make sure it's delivered and installed on your time frame. I work with customers all the time that are getting taken for money. And, that stuff is those chickens will come to roost. That is an absolute fact. And those of us who are doing this right, if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably in a 1% because you've taken the time to get through 46 minutes of Eric and Jared just shooting at you, just giving you the absolute truth of it. You've learned more about me on this episode personally, and Eric probably personally than you ever have known. We're both going to do personal testimonial videos for you guys to share our vision for what we want for steel, for wood, for ourselves, and hopefully if I motivate one person on this call today, if you're drinking, stop it. You don't need to.
Cut
Like
it out.
that's my motivator for today. And to be truthful, I know lots of people who socially drink, and that's fine. That's your business. I'm not here to criticize. I'm just here to tell you I had a problem with it, and I'm not going to drink anymore. That's my biggest thing, and I want to keep you guys can hold me accountable. If you ever see the Steel King Jared Ledford out with a drink in his hand, you better smack me across the jaw. You better lay me out right there, because I want to be a testament to myself and to my neighbors
I
and my
got
friends.
bills, man. I don't got time for that. I got bills.
That's right.
I
That's
got
right.
bills.
That's right. Brother, do you
I got
have
peace
anything
to
else for
protect,
me?
man.
We're getting blown up.
Yeah,
So a little bit
we
of
need
a
to
peek
let this
behind the
play.
curtain. The Steel Kings have been behind on recording because we've been busy. And I'm
Yeah.
just giving a shout out to Shannon and the guys over at Shed Geek Podcast. As we
Shed
finish
Geek.
up our second episode today, the Podfather himself is asking us where our episodes are.
Hey,
So shout out
this
to
guy from
Deanna.
Idaho. This guy from
Yeah.
Idaho said, because we was just talking while we was having this episode, and he said, I said, I'm working on something real quick, and then I'll quote you. And he said, what you got going on? I said, I'm on a podcast for Steel Kings, LOL. Here's a live look. I screenshotted us, and he says, oh, sick. I was like, I'm gonna send him. Bro, you want to be alive? You just want to buy a building on
Yeah.
live air?
Yeah.
How about that?
You want to come right out? You want to come right on with us? I can tell you, man, I am going to give one more shout out. I'm going to try to get better about the shout outs, but I will tell you the team over at VersaBend and Cold Spring Enterprises, I will tell you this machine is a game changer for your metal building pros out there. It bends the 2-inch, the 2 1/4, the 2.5 square tubing that we're all familiar with. It also does the 2x3 rectangular in all in 3 precise bends. No tools to switch the tube sizes. It just gets you the speed, the accuracy, and way less downtime. $19,500 gets you the equipment. There's no tax if you're outside South Carolina. Shipping averages about $600. Check out the team over at csecarport.supply. Give them a call, 844-446-3645. Tell Wendell and the team the Steel King sent you. I will also plug one last time the team over at J Money. Joel, Katie, our friends, the team, Jason, all
J
of them,
Money changed our
doing
life.
a great job. Thank you for giving us an opportunity to present to you the Steel Kings podcast. We will be back next week with another episode. We'll figure it out along the way. Shannon, Deanna, we're sorry it took so long, but hey, we'll be back at you next week.
We're
I'm
here.
Jared. This is Eric. We are the Steel Kings. So
We
check
are
us
the
out
Steel
next week,
Kings.
and we will talk to you soon. Peace out, guys.
Before you go, the J Money team wants to thank you for listening to today's Steel Kings podcast. Remember, money is king, and if you need a financing option on your portable wood sheds or steel buildings, we are here to help. Just check us out at jmoneyllc.com for more information, and don't forget to catch the next episode of the Steel Kings podcast, and have a great day.